Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and teach you how to mix the henna so you can get a nice creamy consistency. The whole clue here is not to make it too watery or not too pasty. You want to get a nice creamy consistency, almost as if you have like a ketchup type of consistency for it. So I'm going to go ahead and in this case mix 2 scoops of black, and then I'm going to go ahead and add just a tad bit of dark brown because it'll help to cut down that little bit of green hue that you get with the black. So you see, it's just a little bit, just to cut it down, because my client's eyebrows are black, but it'll give it a nice soft look and it'll definitely cut down on the green. We're going to get our dropper, and I'll start off with about 10 drops of water. We'll get our mixer. And when you're mixing, just, use your mixer, go around with it, make sure that you're getting all the particles. Okay, now if you look, it's just not creamy enough. It might seem creamy, but it's not, and if you can even tell that it hasn't dissolved completely. So we want to add a little bit more water. So I'm going to add about 4 more drops. And I'll mix a little bit more. And remember, the longer you mix with the mixer, actually the creamier it will become. This looks really nice if you look. It has a nice, creamy, as I said, just think of ketchup consistency. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the fixative drops. Now since we did 2 scoops of black, we're going to do 2 drops of the fixative. 1 and 2. And again, we mix. So if you look at it, you'll see how creamy it looks. See how nice that is? That's what you want. You want this nice creaminess. You don't want a pasty consistency, and you don't want it too watery. You want that creamy consistency so that it comes out rich and it's easy to apply. It's not dripping, but you see, like I said, just think of ketchup. It's the best way of remembering it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get a cotton pad ready to put the pre-lotion on your client's eyebrows. We're going to go ahead and do a few drops of water on a cotton pad just to dilute the pre-lotion. This is the pre-lotion that you use on your client. You'll go ahead and do a couple of drops on there. Don't need much, just a little bit. And once you have this, you're going to go ahead and wipe the client's brows back and forth to just take off any residue, any makeup, and this will prep their skin for good color retention. So now we're ready to go ahead and clean up the client's brows with our pre-lotion. So we're going to go ahead and wipe it. I like to go ahead and just get in to make sure that I get in all the hair and get off any excess oil or makeup that's on there. Now we'll do the other brow. Okay, so your client is ready for your henna application now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use our henna applicator, which is basically this little pointed stick. The other side is the measuring spoon. If you look, you've got your measuring spoon here, and you've got your applicator on this side. So we're going to go ahead. I usually like to start at the end of the brow, because this is what takes longer to get color retention, and it's usually the lighter part of the brow. Now, when you're applying the henna, you need to press in so that the skin also gets the staining. I like to clean up a little bit as I go. You don't have to. I'm always going to do a final cleanup, but I like to take off the excess as I go so you don't have to worry about staining in areas that you don't want. Now, one of the things that you need to do is make sure you're holding the skin tight, and you can even stretch it a little because it also helps with the staining. The henna application is the most important part here. You don't want to rush through it. You want to make sure that the skin is saturated. You want to make sure that the brow hair is covered. You want to make sure that you're giving the client a good brow shape. You see, I'm basically patting in the color. I'm going to clean up a little. I like to try to clean up behind the hair so it doesn't look so boxy. I'm going to go ahead and put the timer on for her. What I usually do is, in this case, I'm setting it for 17 minutes, and I usually have 2 timers. So this is a timer for the right eyebrow, and I'll be doing a second timer when I finish the application on the left eyebrow. For a few minutes, usually about 5 or 6 minutes, I go in and I just take a small portion of the front part of the brow off. This gives it a nice soft ombre effect. And again, it helps to keep it from looking so boxy or too heavy on the client's face. So now it's time to remove the application. And what I do is I just moisten a cotton pad very lightly. I don't use a lot of water because you're going to take the richness away from the henna. So I'll go ahead and slowly press down and start wiping away. And then whatever is left here, we start brushing. Take some lightener, and we're going to put some on a Q-tip, the end of a Q-tip. Okay, put that to the side, and what I'm going to do is just clean the skin under. Of any excess henna that is left behind. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the second brow now that the timer went off. And remember, you're doing a very, very lightly damp cotton pad, and you're going to press in as you're removing the color. Now, I'm not sure if in the video you can tell that little green hue that I talked about, that the black tends to leave. As it continues to oxidize on the client, you're going to notice that it starts to fade away. So don't panic when you see that. Keep brushing until you make sure that you've taken off any excess henna that's left behind. Get our Q-tip again with a little lightener. I like to soften the edges a little bit as I'm cleaning. It's also a good time to tweeze away any other little stray hairs that you may have missed. And again, I don't know whether in the video you can tell, but it's already oxidized a lot and that green hue has definitely subsided. Now the last thing we're going to do is put on the blue conditioner that Brandao gives you. And what this does is it helps to hydrate the brow hair because henna tends to dehydrate your hair. So we want to go ahead and make sure that it's conditioned. And this also helps with color retention. So what I usually do is I take some, I'll put it on the back of my hand, I'll take a fresh spoolie and I basically kind of just put it across, brush it through. And you're going to let the hair absorb that. And clean off any excess that may go on the skin. The conditioner just adds a nice richness at the same time to the brows. And once it's dry and it's completely oxidized, the color is just rich. Your client's eyebrows look defined. You really couldn't ask for anything better than that.